Hey people, time for a council. Well, I don't even know if this video is really going to make it to YouTube. This is the third time I'm making it. Maybe it's good it's the third time. Maybe Great Spirit didn't want me to say what I said before. I don't know. Or say it in a different way. We'll try it one more time here. I just did 2 test ones and uploaded them. Yeah, it's okay. So we'll see. You know what they do? They mess around with Google and all these other things. Before you know it, you go back on there and it's been changed and you got to re-sign in. It's just a freaking mess. It's like the world right now. I was going to, the last 2 videos, well, the first one was going to be called The Power of 4, about leadership, and then the next one was about the world and how we're dancing on the head of a pin right now. Maybe I'll call this one the razor's edge, because that's where we're at with all the stuff that's going on. I don't want to upset anybody. Let's all take a deep breath. Spine erect, blow it out, just relax. And let's look at the world like we're a chess master and we're sitting there watching these 2 people play. One might be a rookie and the other one might be very well advanced. In that case, it's going to be over real quick, isn't it? Now, I don't know, there's just it's funny, I don't want to sound like that guy. I was watching this series called Rome. What a great series. What a great series. It was HBO, I think, a few years back, more than a few years, but a great series. Anyway, it shows the decadence of Rome. And basically, it's the same thing that's happening today. Only, as far as the civilization goes and the decadence and the armies and the wars. And one thing I did read, that the reason that I want to call this the razor's edge, and it's because it is. We're on the razor's edge right now. I read where there's planes that the Russians are flying planes just off the border up in Alaska with nukes on them. And the frequency is increasing with increasing frequency, let's say, and 20,000 troops massed on the border of Ukraine, all because the U.S. is doing real stupid things right now. Well, we know about that. Take another deep breath. No, Russia literally cruises right off our shores with subs, with platforms on them, with sunburn missiles that could just literally liquefy a city if it wanted to. They're starting to get kind of ticked off. They did some sanctions on us. We're having counsel here like a family. And I know my friends are out there, Kay and Diane and Rick, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are signing up for this channel right now. And I don't know, it's just I'm looking at it like, wow, we got Obama just bombed over in Iraq. He bombed the guys that he created. He created the Syrian rebels and armed them so he could overthrow Assad, and then that didn't work out. So where did they all go? Up into Iraq and wreaking havoc and cornering people on mountains, 40,000 of them. And he had to send in bombers and blow up his own little Frankenstein that he made. Isn't that great? That's just going to piss them off. And they're going to do worse things. And then, you know, the humanitarian situation in the Ukraine is really bad because Kiev, who is another puppet of the West, is persecuting the poor Russian people that live there. They're sieging cities and doing all kinds of shit. And Russia's going, let us go in there at least in a humanitarian. I mean, they could, don't get me wrong here, Russia could just go right in there. Okay? They got these troops on the border, but they're asking permission. They're being nice. They're saying, well, let us go in a humanitarian way just to help these people that are suffering in the cities that have no food and water and are wounded and cut off. And Kiev and the USA and the UK are all going, if you did that, that would be an act of aggression, and that's not allowed. Not allowed to go in and help people. Now, can we see is there any question about, you know, this situation with the West and the East? Who's being a real asshole about this thing? Let them go in, for God's sakes. They've brought it to the UN. They've done all kinds of things. So those are some things that are going on. And then we have the continuing Gaza mess, and we got this stuff. The world is on fire. And I can tell you true, it is, because I lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis, and now that I'm looking at this stuff, the Cuban Missile Crisis almost looks like Alice in Wonderland compared to this. This is the real deal here. We're ramping up everywhere. It's ramping up everywhere. Now, hopefully, I can say in a couple of days, this too shall pass. But so far, it hasn't. It hasn't passed. It's getting more intense. So what is this attributable to? Well, it's attributable to lack of true leadership from the West, anyway. That's the way I see it. Others may not see it that way. And then the EU, the other thing is Russia did sanctions on our food. They're not buying any more food from us whatsoever, from A to Z, anything. Maybe a few things. I think they said they would continue to let baby food come in. You know what that's going to do to our economy, my friends, brothers and sisters? The farmers they're going to not be able to sell their food, and then they're going to have extra food. Well, people go, well, we'll have extra food here. No, we won't. It'll go rotten on the shelves by the time they get everything rearranged, and they won't have enough money to ship it. I mean, that's my theory. It's my thoughts. And I went to the store today, and my God, I mean, eggs went up from where I shop, $1.79 on the West Coast here, to $2.17. That's a big jump, people. And milk went from $1.19 to $1.49 or something. You don't think that our economy's in bad shape? They're just not telling us. Like I said before, all those numbers are cooked. The books are cooked all the way around, and we're cooked. We're cooked gooses. Geese? Quack, quack, quack. We're cooked. We're cooked, baby. If they keep pushing these Russians and they're cruising out there around with their nukes, and I told you before, if they start using nukes, and the Russians are getting nervous because they think that, man, if the West is pushing us this hard, maybe they're going to use nukes on us next. And you know, people are going, well, the Russians will suffer because they're not importing our food. Guess what? The Russians during World War II in Leningrad were eating shoe leather as they were fighting the Nazis, because the Nazis had them, and they still won. That's the kind of stamina and fortitude these people have. So don't count your chickens, you know, with them backing down in any kind of way. The Russians, no, the Russian people aren't like that. I don't think they'd let Putin do it if he wanted to. And Putin wouldn't do it because he's got an 80% approval rating right now. So, just goes to show you how but you know, getting back to the leadership thing, there is no leadership in the West, because I did a video on leadership and I wasn't able to upload it, but I'm telling you people, there's 4 things that constitute a good leader. Know your enemy, know yourself, know your friends, and then you got to take the lead. But you have to know all that stuff first. You have to know all that stuff. You have to know yourself. That's really a big one. Then you have to know your enemy. These are all strategic tactics from the Lakota people in the Power of 4. Those are the 4 things to be a real leader. And just because you know your enemy doesn't mean you hate him either. Let me just add that. Because sometimes the enemy's within our own self. Anyway, we don't have any leaders here, okay? Got a bunch of, I mean, seriously, I mean, I wouldn't want the job, but you could put me in the White House and I'd do a bang up job compared to what they're doing. Thunder for president. Right. Don't think so. But I'll tell you what I'd do. First of all, I'd fire everybody. Everybody. I mean, everybody. And then I'd start doing some hand picking of some people that were spiritual, indigenous oriented, nature oriented, peace oriented, loving oriented people. But still warriors. We'd still have to have the warrior thing, only it wouldn't be, it would be a kind of like mind our own business type deal unless somebody comes in. Just like the martial arts, when somebody comes in on you, you have a choice to back off, walk away, the sword of no sword, or if they get in your face and grab something or grab your arm or hair or whatever, well, yeah. And see, that's the problem with this country that we live in. It's that they go looking for trouble. They don't leave people alone. They're just like religion knocking on your door saying you're going to do this. That's, I mean, isn't that an exact replica or replication of religious thought? Banging on people's door, only it's countries, people. And you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And these countries are going, man, this is really getting out of hand. That's what they're saying. The U.S. is really full of pride, and guess what? When you get full of pride, just like Rome, Rome was a superpower. They ruled the friggin' world, practically. I mean, they had Egypt and Africa, and guess what? Rome fell, baby. It fell hard. Because it got too much pride. And they had senators and everything just like we do. And I say we loosely because I don't give a shit. I care about you people. I'm going to keep this video short because I'm going to see, this is almost like a test video, but just thought I'd do a little reporting here and counsel. No, we don't want to call it reporting. That's a bad word. Delete. It's counsel. And if you could talk to me, then that'd be great. I'm open for comments, you know, from all my friends out there. So this is Thunder from the Campfire Council in the One Eye of the Heart. Oh, and the Campfire Council, right up here or down there. Check it out. We appreciate your donations. Anyway, I'm out of here. Adios.